Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird in New York City. I have a story to tell you today. So I'll get started by telling you to watch this video. Google April 9, 2016, E. Michael Jones Men's Music Colloquium in Wisconsin, Part 1. One of his books is called The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. This is at the Peter Helland channel. He talks about cultural developments. He got his musical education. I didn't take notes on everything he said, so you'll need to go to this video if you want to get all of the information. And I suggest you do, because it's very important to your understanding of what is going on in our country and to protect yourself. Okay, Michael said he got his musical education from the radio. Tesla invented the radio. Tesla was Eve, the mother of the earth. He said he used to attend dances, and then American Bandstand went off the air, replaced by Philadelphia Italians, and no, they were the Philadelphia Italians. And then Bob Dylan, the Jewish people began. Jones plays guitar and sings. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, which was written by Carole King, is a Jewish doo-wop, he says. It was recorded by the Shirelles. I remember that song very well. It went into my head. Then he talks about Angel Baby, another song sang by a Mexican named Rosie, another Jewish doo-wop. And the failed revolution. He talks about 1848, led by Wagner. Wisconsin was a magnet for socialist revolutionaries. Jews gravitated to Communist part. Catholics gravitated. What is that? They gravitated. Yeah, the Jews became communists, and the Catholics gravitated to the FBI. Bohemia was Jewish revolutionary cult. Dylan was singing Woody Guthrie. Pete Seeger did not like the idea of using American folk music as revolutionary music because he said it wasn't revolutionary music. The masses were singing Old Black Joe. I was one of them. I remember singing that in school, in music class. And sentimental tunes written by those in Tin Pan Alley. Psychology. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? This put a question. Now I'm getting personal. This put a question in my head to my upcoming lover. Will you still love me tomorrow? I had the question before I had the lover, because I got it from that song going into my head. Given my background, the answer was no, you will not still love me tomorrow. Distrust to enter the relationship when I formed the relationship. My mother didn't love me tomorrow. The song regressed me to age 3, as when I was 4 years old, my mother told me that she had never wanted me, which meant she had never loved me, that she had tried to kill me, to abort me when I was in her womb. April 9, 1968, fast forward to the man when I was in my 20s. I decided after an amazing courtship to be with for the rest of my life, Edwin Birdsong, as his wife. I saw Edwin with 2 friends. He was with 2 friends, Roy Ayers, a jazz musician, and Artis Mack, an artist, a painter, now deceased, walking toward my roommate Vicky Gatling and I as we sat on a park bench, I lamenting the fact that we had arrived here in Central Park too late to be a part of the rally to mourn the assassination of my hero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, I said I and not Vicky, because though Vicky was black, in fact she was blacker than me, I was yellow, light skin. The reason, mellow yellow they call it, high yellow. So the reason why she didn't lament him was because she didn't really relate to black people. Though she was dark skinned, she related to white people. And I actually kind of forced her to come to this rally. She knew nothing of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She didn't care about things like that. Okay, anyway, I said to the guys walking toward us, Vicky and I, matter-of-factly, if you're here for the Dr. King rally, you're too late. There were empty chairs all around us. Artists came over to light Vicky's cigarette. Roy was snapping pictures with his 35mm camera, a Nikon. The next thing I knew, Edwin, the young man with the dirty bucks, 3/4 length boots and long black leather jacket and magnificent fro and shades the same shape as John Lennon's silver dollar-sized eyeglasses. He was sitting close to me, saying in my ear, after I'd answered his question, what sign are you? I'm an Aries. Today is my birthday. My mother, the most important woman in his life, is an Aries, he said. Then in my ear, Roy is still taking pictures. Edwin says, I'm going to marry you. What? Marry you? I wouldn't even go out with you, I said, just being brutally honest. In my mind was the memories of having been First Lady of the world to Eve, Mother of the Earth. I had years later, first century, taken birth as Mary, wife of Jesus Christ. I had been Queen Isabella of Spain, who hired the explorer Christopher Columbus to find a part of the world suitable for a heaven in this eternal world. I had over 10,000 births. 6 times I had been First Lady of the United States. I was Mrs. George Washington, Glenn Beck, Mrs. John Adams, Mark R. Levin, Mrs. Thomas Jefferson, Sean Hannity, Mrs. James Madison, Lionel Richie, Mrs. Abraham Lincoln, Anthony Tony Robbins, Mrs. Ulysses S. Grant, Owen Benjamin. I had been sex goddess Marilyn Monroe, whose boyfriend was JFK, the President of the United States, and I've been the girlfriend as well of Robert Kennedy, the candidate for the United States President. And here this ghetto person thought I matched him, thought I would agree to be his mate. Buried in his memory was the fact that he'd been Bach, the inventor of the 12 tones limitation in music, and he'd been Irving Berlin. In fact, to continue talking to me, I asked him to show me some ID. He handed me his driver's license. It was from California. I thought you were from New York. I'm here attending Juilliard School of Music, majoring in composition. Artist is attending the School of Visual Arts on 23rd Street. And Roy is a vibraharpist for Jewish jazz icon Herbie Mann, a flautist, a guy who plays the flute. To make a long story short, Edwin bombarded me with impressive experiences to make me want to marry him. A week or two after we met, he took me and my 6-year-old niece, Vanita Michelle Long, visiting me from my hometown, Clarksville, Tennessee, back to Central Park, this time to be photographed, along with Herbie Mann, Roy's then-girlfriend Cindy, Roy's son, Little Roy, guitar player named Sonny, and a white girl wearing glasses with her black companion. Integrated group. Dr. King's dream playing out right there in Central Park for group being photographed for the cover of Roy Ayers' first solo album, Stone Soul Picnic, the name of a song by Laurel Niro, some say Nero, recorded by the Fifth Dimensions for their album of the same title that went platinum. Okay. The second mind-blowing thing was Edwin played and sang a song he'd written for me called I Love You, Michelle. You can see this video at Michelle Birdsong YouTube channel, I Love You, Michelle, Yeah, Baby. I said when I heard the song, the Beatles already wrote a song, Michelle, My Belle. Sir Paul McCartney is a projection of Mary's husband, Jesus Christ, Gurinder Singh. Edwin said, everything's been done, but the way you do it. The way one do it. You. I for Y, O you. I owe you. One. O for ordering. N. E for Eve energy. I owe you ordering in Eve energy. Because I'm the mother of the earth, Eve. Okay? Recorder. Put an R-E here, especially. Put the R-E here. Record. Record. Recorder. Ring. That's a wedding bell. Okay? Her recorder. Her for R. E for energy. Conscious for C. O for order. Her R. Divine. Energy. Eve Einstein. Her. Her energy. Consciousness. Ordered. Her. Divine energy. Eve Einstein. Her. Eve, her, is Einstein with divine energy, consciousness. Her consciousness is energy. Okay, so that's how come she orders in energy. So the energy of the world is Eve's energy. Eve is providing energy for the world. Set it in two places there. I'm doing automatic writing so ego doesn't come into play. And manipulation doesn't come into play either. It's just recognizing the brutal truth. One night, Edwin called me, saying, in my apartment, saying, on the phone, saying he wanted to see me. I told him my boyfriend, Dr. Donald Bean, was over, visiting me. He told me to put Vicky back on the phone. In less than an hour, Edwin and Roy had come over. They came to visit with Vicky, they said. Don and I had been having drinks. I was tipsy. Tipsy. Where does it begin? T. Truth is psychiatrist. Okay, I was as St. Saint. Yeah, let's do the saints first. Saint. I was a saint. Guru Nanak. I was Guru Nanak, who founded Sikhism, and there was Tulsi Sahib, who started Satmat. Now, as far as the psychiatrist, the truth, I is psychiatrist. Talk and share. Freud, Perls, Fritz Perls, a German psychiatrist. Jung's wife, Emma. Jung is Muhammad. Is Dr. Jordan Peterson. I'm giving you an enormous amount of information here. I hope you appreciate it. It hasn't been easy to come by, I'll tell you that. Don said, smiling. This is Don Bean in my apartment, okay? Smiling, angry inside, smile on the outside. I'm leaving, baby. Edwin came out of the room where he'd been talking to Vicky to claim his prize, me. My other roommate, a white girl named Linda Gallagher, who was Irish, she had been Mary Queen of Scots, came out to where Edwin and I were. I was crying, and I was tipsy, remember? She yelled at Edwin and Roy, "Get out of here." Okay, so Edwin and I eventually made up. He took me shoe shopping. He saw to it that I got a pair of comfortable flats that were not too small, but were just right. Because he walked me all over Manhattan, meeting every star that came to Manhattan and watching their shows. Free. He never bought a ticket. We would just go to the stage door, and when they would come in, we'd ask if we could come in. They'd take a look at us and always say yes. This happened to Sly and the Family Stone, too, who was a projection of my son sing birdsong. Anyway, back to the piece. So he took me to get these shoes that felt right and comfortable. Though growing up, I lived as though I was Cinderella. I washed the dishes, washed the Venetian blinds, and mopped the floors. My feet were larger than my mother's, so I knew I was not the Cinderella the prince would claim, because my feet would not fit into the small shoe the prince brought, like in the Disney movie Cinderella. I decided as a child my feet were not good. They were too big to be good. And see, you live by what you believe, by what you decide, no matter what age. Your life is based on your beliefs. That's why talk and share is so important. It's so important that parents talk and share with their children so that what these children are thinking and deciding upon can be discussed, and the parents can help them come to a positive decision, a helpful decision, instead of one that cripples them, that hurts them. Eve, A Life with Edwin. Okay, A Life with Edwin was of her giving all her energies, time to help him establish himself as a recording artist, because that's what he wanted. A composer, not too big, just right. If you get too big in the music business, in the entertainment industry, movies, Hollywood, it's because you were fucked in the butt by the gatekeepers, and you sucked their shit off their dicks. Okay, so he didn't want to do that. So he didn't want to get too big. He got just big enough. Artists such as Kanye West, Mary J. Blige, Daft Punk, De La Soul, Snoop Dogg, they all recorded his music, so they knew, the insiders knew he was big, but he didn't become, as big as, say, Brad Pitt or somebody. I can't think of his artists now, who had to suck dicks and things to make it, like those girls who slept with Weinstein, had to sleep with him and watch him shower and do all sorts of weird things to get parts in movies. Okay, so when Edwin was taken under the Wings, that's Paul McCartney's group. Paul McCartney recorded Ebony and Ivory, another integration duo Dr. Martin Luther King can take credit for. Sir Paul McCartney, is the projection of Govinda Singh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so he put Stevie Wonder under his wings to do this big hit, Ebony and Ivory. So when Edwin was taken under the wings of Stevie Wonder, superstar, because when Stevie Wonder heard our first album, What It Is, he knew that album contained superstar songs. As Stevie recorded, he sang, "What It Is oh so new." A few bars later, he sang, "What it is oh so true. I just called to say I love you." And one night when I was talking to Steve on the phone, long after he had taken Edwin from me and the family, he said to me, "Why didn't Birdsong do another What It Is?" And I said, "Because he fired the people that helped him do the first What It Is." In other words, he couldn't do it. How's he going to write a great song when he fired Shakespeare, the lyricist, you see? And I knew Steve was disappointed. He'd been waiting for Birdsong to do a part 2 of What It Is. That's like Usher. One night I saw Usher on television. He said, where's the other What It Is? These people wanted to hear it number 2 What It Is. But they didn't realize those ideas and those words came from his wife, the wife of Jesus Christ, Eve, Mary, the Michelle Birdsong, Einstein mind. That was no simple matter. That was a big, big deal. What It Is was a big, big deal. Where's the picture? I had the picture somewhere. I put them in books. I'll show you the picture of What It Is. I did his hair. That's called hair art. I plaited his hair, and after this album, blind people all over the world started wearing their hair in plaits too. So that's hair art. And this song, when a newborn baby is born, the world gets one more chance. And there's Sing Birdsong, our son. Okay, he is the Mozart and Jimi Hendrix and King Menelaus and King Saul and King Charlemagne. He was all these giants. So every time he was born, he did great things for the world. Okay, so I knew that Steve, who had become non-blood brother with Edwin, had been disappointed with Edwin, though Edwin had personally entertained him. That's why Steve took him from us, because Edwin could keep him from being bored. Example, at the Fillmore East, Edwin put Steve's hand in his hair, and Steve felt those tiny plaits. And that gave him an idea, and the next thing I know, Stevie Wonder was wearing plaits. Okay, I had created the plaits. My mother had created French braids in my hair. Mr. Momet had created hair art of French braiding in my hair when I was 12 years old going to school. And back further than that, my great-grandmother, Chief Sitting Bull, had worn his hair in 2 plaits. So it's a family tradition that we gave to the world. And black people all over the world still wear their hair in plaits. A lot of them wear extensions because they want long plaits, but it's still the plaits. Okay, so Edwin entertained Steve. Edwin kept Steve distracted from the fact that he was bored being blind. It's very boring to be blind. You can't see anything. Okay, so Edwin had personally entertained Steve more than anyone else ever could do. But he was still disappointed because he wanted another What It Is. One day, long after Edwin and I had divorced, and my dreams of raising my children, living the financial good life, had long since been shattered. Mild red dreams were shattered by a black Muslim groupie. What was her name? Dio Muhammad Ali or something like that. A gold digger in Philadelphia who told Edwin he was the father of her baby. If you see the baby all grown up, it's painfully obvious that Edwin is not her, Candace's father. And Stevie Wonder, who enticed Edwin away from his family with status. symbols. These people broke a heart, just saying. Those are people who broke his wife's heart. Premieres, status symbols such as movie premieres, Academy Award and Grammy Award seats. Backstage at Saturday Night Live for the week that Steve appeared on that show, when it was still kind of funny, not mean and snarky, like when Alec Baldwin made a fool of himself mocking the President of the United States. Who knew then that to make America great again, you had to repeal the Act of 1871 that made the United States a corporation, $20 trillion in debt with the Jewish Rothschilds holding the bond. Nathan Rothschild said, "I don't care what puppets make the laws, as long as I control the source of the money. The source of the money of the United States is the people whose labor earns money, which they give to the government in what is called taxes." 16th Amendment, I think it was. The government repeal that amendment. The government borrows money from the internet. I hope you repeal that amendment. The government borrows money from the international bankers, the Crown, the Rothschilds. The United States government pays interest, usury, which means exorbitant interest, to the Rothschilds that is so exorbitant they'll never be able to pay off the $20 trillion, the interest for which is compounded and growing every day. This means the citizens will owe this debt and will have to work for the Rothschilds just to pay part of the interest. 5G will connect the minds, unless the people stop 5G, to artificial intelligence, computers, to pump thoughts into them as computers, phones, newspapers, PR firms, television, magazines, academia, religion, books, mainstream media, music does already. These things already tell them what to think, but people choose what programs them. 5G proposes to choose for you what goes into your minds to program you. So you have no part to play in your own lives. You are totally controlled. The people are so busy making money, they don't have time to think. They look to these corporations mentioned above to tell them what to do in the moments of their days, nights, weeks, months, years, what to eat, how to have energy, what soap to bathe, how to be clean, what deodorant, how to not stink, where to live, their shelter, what to think, what to know, television, mainstream media, who to worship, Jesus Christ, Christians, or Satan, Lucifer, Cal, Jews. What goal? Money is nothing. People who have lots of money spend their time choosing distractions from their empty lives of valuing valueless things and being too cool, too sophisticated to appreciate the significant natural pleasures of life. One of the greatest blessings, family, they don't appreciate. The wise elders, they deprive of their love and ship them off to old folks' homes. Their children, many of them, they kill, they abort or prevent contraception, use contraception. Their spouses, they destroy. They break their hearts by cheating on them. Fortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Jesus Christ gave us Talk and Share, whereby we can heal ourselves by waking up. And I got through it. What do you know? So there you go. There's the problem and the answer to the problem. The answer is Talk and Share. I'll come to you again when I have more information for you. So long.